Hello, world. Welcome to the OG Tap Podcast with your host, Tyrone Dawson. And today we're going to talk about a legend from out of DC. And this legend is a female by the name of KIMi GRAY. If you do not know who KIMi GRAY is, she's a legend from out of DC. But we're going to go into the story of this beautiful soul who saved a lot of DC kids in the project areas. KIMi GRAY was born in Washington, D.C. in 1945. Most of her childhood in the public housing section, raised by her mother and grandmother. Her father died when she was 7 years old. Her grandparents stored ambition in KIMi GRAY. At the age of 14, KIMi GRAY had her first child. At the age of 16, she had her third child. She got married, and by the age of 19, she had 5 children, and she was divorced by 12. KIMi also went back to school in 1966. Got her diploma and also got her associate's degree in business. But her real calling was the DC Parks and Recreation Center. What KIMi has did was she managed project sections of the Washington, D.C. for many years. She was a legend. Everybody knows her. She worked nearby with the Marion Barry. She worked with all types of politics. She worked with the president. KIMi is a very, very respected lady. But she has passed away. We're going to get a little bit of details of KIMi's story if you do not know the history of KIMi GRAY. KIMi GRAY was 55 and once time welfare mother who became a national figure of the public housing because of her efforts of realizing the trouble in Northeast Washington, D.C. community where she lived for more than 3 decades. Died of a heart alignment March 1st at the Washington Hospital Center. Preferred best known as the Feast Advocates of Politics and the Converse Inner City Public Housing Projects into resident-owned and managed properties. Ms. Gray was the president and the chief executive officer of the Kenilworth-Parkside Resident Management Corp for the past 18 years. Among the first of her kind, the tenant-ran organizations purchased the 464-unit Kenilworth-Parkside projects in the 1988. And with the support of federal housing rehabilitation funds, became a overhaul of the sprawling, negative garden apartments building in dirt, country wood sandwiches between the Anacostia River and the interstate of I-295. Apartments were invaded and tenants were hired to do some of the work. Residents was also placed in the management new daycare center and employed it in the substance abuse counseling and employee and training services. They also submittedly improved rent collection. Those steps in turn were followed by declining crime rates, vacancies, and welfare dependency rose. In the 1990s, residents of Kenilworth-Parkside moved into the first group of renovation apartments, and in 1998, workers complete the remodeling of the group of the townhouses. The transformation process wasn't easy for the community. not unlike other cities, public housing complex that have struggled with decades of poverty, drugs, abuse, and violence. While obstructed remain, Ms. Gray has been given credit for the improvement conditions of these projects. There you go, guys. We have a living legend. Miss KIMi GRAY. If you want to look more into this episode and read about Miss KIMi GRAY, I knew her personally. Thank you. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. I have met her many of times, said hello, and I respected her from a long distance. She was a well-spoken lady. She spoke with great English, and she was confident even back in the 90s. I was a young child watching her. I think I went to like a convention and I heard her speak. She was with the mayor, and I was just impressed by the words that she was, invading out of her mouth. It was so soft spoken, but it was also relatable. So I did get to see her accent. Rest in peace till she passed away. She was a mother of 5. She was married one time, and once she got divorced, she got on her 2-step and she got to work. She cleaned up the Kenilworth-Parkside housing developments and made sure everybody was treated equally. Rent was paid on time, made sure the projects was clean like no other. But guys, I like to reflect back on my city because I am from Washington, D.C., the northeast side, the same side as where Kenilworth is. I know a bunch of people from that area. I went to school with a lot of these people from Kenilworth, and they are great souls, and I'm still friends with them to today on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that. They are good people. I love my Kenilworth side Park people, and it was a lot of talent came out of that area from the 90s. A lot of great talents. I don't want to speak on nobody's name, but yes, Kenilworth was one of those areas you would have wanted to live or grow up because it would have made you out of a man or a professional. Professional fighters come out of there, professional everything. It's just a great place. Kenilworth was definitely one of those places that you wanted to be involved in. But guys, I just want to talk about that situation because we shed light on real life situation. We share light on greatness. We share light on real life stuff that goes on in the past and also in the future. So if you've been under a bridge, maybe under a rock, you can always come here at the OG Type Podcast and get some great news information. You can also do the researches yourself. Go on Google, go on YouTube. You can find a lot of this information. And you can fulfill your fantasy by buying books because a lot of great people write books. I'm in the process of writing my book right now, but I don't know how I'm going to get it published, but I am starting the transcript. So, yes, if I'm ever vanished from this earth, I want to put out documents saying that I was active in this universe. I don't want nobody telling my story. I want to tell my own story. Because, people tell your story and they use what they want to do, how they want to do it, but they don't tell the facts. But you can always come here at the OG Type Podcast, and I'm going to give it to you, the realness. You can go back on my playlist. I talk about my whole life journey. Just go back and look. What I do now from my past to when I was a knucklehead. So, guys, you want to put your story out there because you don't want no one else to direct your story in a negative way. But once again, here at the OG Type Podcast, you can always come here. If you've been under a rock, maybe under a bridge, you can also get reinserted back into the hip-hop community. I'm part of the hip hop community. I bet hip hop changed my life. So I would never turn my back on the hip hop community. But guys, I'm not gonna hold you up. Thank you for listening to the OG Tap Podcast. And until next time, we will be back. Peace.